Good day everyone, I'm Ramon Victor M. Floirendo and I'm here to present a performance task given by our teacher, Sir Rusty Santa Maria de Plata. I hope that after this presentation, I've improved your mind and perspectives regarding endothelial organelles by creating an analogy that I will be presenting. So, let's get started. A nightclub and a cell. What could these two possibly have in common? Well, for starters, they're both insanely busy and full of commotion. Sit back, relax, and pour yourself a drink while I'll take you a little tour in my club. The nucleus symbolizes the dance floor. Before we jump into anything else, we have to discuss the nucleus. That's one of the most important part as it stores cell hereditary DNA. The nucleus in the nightclub is the dance floor. Without a dance floor, the club would not be a club, nor would a cell would be a cell without a nucleus. The nucleus contains DNA and the dance floor contains dancer, but we'll get into that later. Speaking of DNA, DNA symbolizes the club goers. In the nucleus, also known as the dance floor, resides DNA that also known as the club goers. These club goers call their homies, boyfriends, girlfriends to come to the club, acting as if they are replicating in number. All club goers are in the same sense that they want to have fun, and all DNA are the same in the sense that they are all made to make proteins. A lot of DNA is packed into cell, as are people in the dance floor.
Speaking of protein
Symbolizes happiness from music. Happiness from the music that the DJ plays represent how the DNA, also known as the club goers, are pleased and help support them. Which DNA are in the same sense that they are all made to make proteins. Also, happiness from music plays important role in the club to the structure, function, and regulation of the club, the same as the protein that required for the structure, the function, and regulation of cell. Speaking of the DJ,
nucleus
symbolizes the DJ.
The nucleus
Makes ribosomes and DJ makes music. Also, the DJ is usually found surrounded by the dance floor. That's why
nucleus
is inside the nucleus. However, the DJ is only present in popular club, just like
nucleus
is in eukaryotic cells, while it's not present in underground club, just like
nucleus
is in prokaryotic cells. Speaking of ribosomes, ribosomes symbolizes the music. Ribosomes are made up by
the nucleus
and music is made by the DJ. Ribosomes are controlled by whatever DNA tells them to do, just as the DJ takes song requests from the club goers and tries to please them. Since we have DNA, of course we have RNA. RNA symbolizes the nice guys. The nice guys at the club are usually the only one who leave the dance floor in order to satisfy their friends by retrieving refreshment for their fellow club goers and friends. RNA is the one of the only few molecules to be able to leave the nucleus. The nice guys do most of the actual work, while other club goers, also known as the DNA, get all the glory. They are otherwise like everyone else. And for the last part of the nucleus, clear membrane symbolizes the couch. The couch separates the people who want to take a break after dancing at the dance floor, similar to how nuclear membranes separate act as physical barrier from the nucleus. If the nucleus have a nuclear membrane, of course, a cell have a cell membrane. Cell membrane symbolizes the doors. The door's status of open or closed ultimately determine who goes in and out of the club. The closed doors prevent unwanted guests from invading the club and wreaking havoc. Open doors allow necessary club goers to allow for a successful business, as the cell membrane select which molecules to let through, just like selectively permeable. Since I'm illustrating a plant cell analogy, we also have a cell wall. Cell wall symbolizes literally the club walls. The club walls protect and support the club to keep inside of the club from being exposed and at risk of harm, usually very sturdy, just like the cell wall, which is responsible for protecting and supporting the cell. Since it's a nightclub and it needs a lot of more and more protection, we also have the bouncers. Lysosomes symbolizes the bouncers. The bouncers are the powerful people in the club who show out the unruly guests who do not comply with the club policies or cause unnecessary trouble. In comparison, the lysosomes is powerful enough to break down or eat viruses that harm the cell. Speaking of unnecessary trouble, the only solution to that is to have a guest list. Chromosomes symbolizes guest list. The guest list is used to keep the club goers tightly ordered and keeps the good club goers that willing to wait their turn to get in the club from the bad ones that aren't willing to wait. Without guest list, the club would be overpacked. In comparison, chromosomes keeps DNA tightly wrapped, and without it, DNA molecules would not be able to fit inside the cell. Let's move on to one of the great features of a city nightclub and one of the most important part of the cell. The famous mitochondria symbolizes the bass drops. Every club goer at my club loves the bass drops. It's the powerhouse of every club. Every time the bass drops, the crowds get energetic. Every time the crowd is energetic, the bass drops. It's pretty much a never-ending cycle. Mitochondria supplies the cell with energy due as the bass drops. That's why it's called the powerhouse of the cell. On this side of the city nightclub, you will see the supply closet. Vacuole symbolizes the supply closet. The supply closet is used for keeping the supplies to clean the club and break down any waste that is left over, which allows the club to gain more publicity. The supply closet keeps the club clean, just like how vacuole is used to clean the cell and help it grow. Since we have the cleaning, we also have the serving. And the plastic reticulum symbolizes waiter. The waiter holds all the drink to keep the party going to the club goers. The waiter sorts out the drinks just like how endoplastic reticulum sorts out proteins. It also involves with giving out drinks to the club goers, similar to how ER transport lipids across the cell. Since we have the serving, of course, we need processing and packing. Gogai apparatus represents bartender. The bartender is responsible for making drinks and keeping the club goers happy. Without the bartender, the club goers are left unhappy without anything to satisfy their thirst. The bartender makes the drinks and hand them out, similar to how Gogai apparatus
Processing, packing into sealed droplets that deliver proteins and fat through ER.
Since it's a city nightclub and it needs a lot of electricity, such as to the light that consumes a lot. Chloroplast symbolizes the solar panel. Since electricity is not cheap, solar panels are used as eco-friendly way to gain electricity without hurting the environment. The solar panels take energy from the sun, which allows the club to have all their lights on, which allows the club to keep on partying, much similar to the chloroplast that takes energy from the sun and converts into energy to convert carbon dioxide and water into sugar. Speaking of lights, that's very important when running a nightclub. Cytoplasm symbolizes flashing lights. The flashing lights represent how there are lights all over the nightclub, just like how in a cell there are cytoplasm all around cell. Lights help everyone in the nightclub to move smoothly, just like the gelatinous texture of cytoplasm that gives smooth run in a cell.